Have you ever wished you could see through someone's true intentions, like looking through a fog to reveal the hidden path ahead? Imagine if you could uncover the nature of a person in mere seconds, saving yourself from pain and confusion before it begins. What if I told you that such clarity is within reach through one simple question that can expose a narcissist faster than they can weave their next illusion? In today's episode, we're not just going to scratch the surface of narcissism. We'll dive into their motives, insecurities, and the fragile egos that drive them to exploit the kindness of people like you. Perhaps you're a compassionate, generous soul who finds meaning in uplifting others. But to the narcissist, you are not a partner. They see you as a resource to use as long as it serves their own fragile sense of self. So how do you protect yourself without losing your empathy? How do you discern their true nature without getting tangled in their web? The answer lies in understanding the subtle dynamics of their behavior and learning to ask the one question that will expose them effortlessly. Stick with me as we unravel the key signs to watch for, explore 3 scenarios that will bring their motives to light, and learn how to shift the power back to you. Are you ready to see with clear eyes and make choices that protect your peace? Let's begin. Number 1. When you need to set a boundary. Picture a gate that protects your inner peace. A narcissist doesn't merely wish to pass through this gate. They believe they are entitled to destroy it entirely. In their world, your boundaries do not exist. Only their needs matter. That is why a simple no unsettles them so deeply. Narcissists thrive on control and entitlement. If they have ever been allowed to cross your boundaries, they take it as evidence of their right to do so again. To them, boundaries are not acts of self-respect, but personal affronts, challenges to the fragile sense of superiority they cling to as a mask for their insecurities. Imagine a child being told no. For a moment, their world collapses because they are consumed by the immediacy of their desires. But a narcissist is no child. They understand their actions and know how to manipulate social norms to achieve their goals. Unlike a child's innocent immaturity, a narcissist's persistence is deliberate and calculated. When dealing with such a person, recognize that justifying or explaining your boundaries is futile. A narcissist does not seek understanding, they seek opportunity. The simpler your stance, the stronger it is. A calm, clear statement like, "I can't agree to that," or "that doesn't work for me," is enough. A healthy individual may feel disappointed, but will respect your decision. A narcissist, however, will push back with manipulative questions designed to dismantle your resolve. They may ask, "Why not?" or demand, "What's so important that you can't do this for me?" They might belittle the situation, saying, "It's not like I'm asking for much." These are not genuine inquiries, but traps meant to provoke guilt or confusion. The key to holding firm lies in maintaining composure. Repeat your stance calmly and consistently. "I can't agree to that." Many mistake the narcissist's persistence for a misunderstanding of boundaries. But the truth is, they understand perfectly well. Their goal is not to comprehend, but to test your resolve. When they persist, and they will, it is not a sign of ignorance, but of calculation. This is the moment when you can strip away their mask with a single question. It seems like you're only focused on your needs and not mine. Is that intentional? This question cuts directly to the heart of their behavior, forcing them to confront their selfishness. Do not expect this confrontation to be met with reflection or apology. Instead, prepare for a strong reaction. After asking this question, resist the urge to fill the silence or defend yourself. Observe instead. One practical technique is to silently hum a song in your mind, something as simple as "Happy Birthday." This small act helps you stay calm and disengaged, giving you the space to observe their response without being drawn into their emotional game. What follows will reveal everything you need to know. A narcissist may lash out in anger, accusing you of selfishness or irrationality. They might exclaim, "How dare you accuse me of that?" or counter with, "You're the one who's being unreasonable." Their goal is to intimidate you into compliance. Others may shift tactics and adopt the role of a victim, appealing to your empathy with statements like, "I can't believe you'd treat me like this," or "All I was trying to do was help, and this is the thanks I get." Their aim is to evoke guilt, hoping you'll relent out of compassion. Still, others might feign compromise, saying, "Let's find a solution that works for both of us," or minimize your boundary with, "I don't see why this is such a big deal." While this might seem reasonable at first, it often serves as a prelude to another attempt at undermining your position later. In all these responses, there is one conspicuous absence: genuine concern for your needs. A narcissist's focus is not on mutual respect or understanding, but on maintaining control and protecting their image. Their aim is not to change their behavior for the sake of growth, but to manipulate how they are perceived. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The reactions of a narcissist are beyond our control, but our response is entirely within our power. By holding firm to our boundaries, we reclaim the authority they seek to erode. Boundaries are not merely lines. They are declarations of self-respect. They are expressions of our values, priorities, and commitment to our own well-being. Each time we enforce them, we affirm our worth. But this is not an easy task. Narcissists are relentless, and their manipulations can be emotionally exhausting. Still, holding our ground is an act of courage and growth. Each time we do so, we strengthen our ability to protect our peace. The next time you find yourself setting a boundary, remember, simplicity is your ally. Avoid explanations or justifications. State your position clearly and hold it. When faced with manipulation, pause and observe instead of reacting. And when their responses expose their true intentions, let that clarity guide your choices. As Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." By setting and maintaining boundaries, we reclaim mastery over our lives. We choose self-respect over compliance, clarity over confusion, and peace over chaos. This choice is not only an act of resistance, but an affirmation of who we are. It is the path of wisdom, and it is a path worth walking. Number 2. When you challenge their lies. If you've spent even a few minutes in the company of a narcissist, you've likely encountered dishonesty. For them, lying is not merely a habit, it's a way of being. They lie not only to manipulate, but sometimes for no apparent reason at all. Their falsehoods can take many forms, some blatant, such as outright fabrications, and others more subtle, like exaggerations or strategically omitted details. Whether they twist the truth into something unrecognizable or subtly adjust it to serve their narrative, you will inevitably face a moment when the deception becomes too glaring to ignore, and you feel compelled to confront them. When we challenge someone who values honesty, their response often reflects humility and a desire for resolution. A healthy person, when caught in a lie or misunderstanding, will typically apologize, clarify, or seek to rebuild trust. A narcissist, however, operates on an entirely different plane. For them, lies are tools of control, and being called out is an attack on their carefully crafted persona. Confronting them is not simply about setting the record straight. It threatens the fragile self-image they fight tirelessly to protect. The next time you find yourself face to face with a narcissist's web of deceit, consider this approach. Begin by calmly posing the question, "Can you explain why your version of the story contradicts what actually happened?" This question places the burden of explanation on them and removes any emotional charge from your side of the interaction. Narcissists thrive in environments where chaos reigns, where emotions cloud clarity, and where they can dominate through confusion and intimidation. By keeping your tone composed and neutral, you disarm their usual tactics. This question forces them into unfamiliar territory. They prefer to operate on their terms, spinning denial, accusations, and defensiveness like a whirlwind designed to keep you off balance. By introducing calm logic into the equation, you disrupt their rhythm. Expect discomfort. A narcissist confronted with a challenge they cannot easily dismiss will flounder. As soon as you've asked the question, resist the urge to fill the silence. Instead, quietly sing "Happy Birthday" in your head. It may sound strange, but this practice is a simple tool to help you remain grounded. It occupies your mind, keeps your emotions in check, and ensures that you do not feed into their manipulative games. Now, prepare for their likely responses. The first and most common is anger. Narcissists often use anger as a weapon, attempting to intimidate you into submission. This can range from overt rage to subtle but sharp accusations meant to undermine your confidence. They seek to regain control by making you feel guilty or defensive. The second typical response is denial. They may flatly reject having said or done anything contradictory, even in the face of clear evidence. Denial is their way of evading accountability and avoiding shame. To them, admitting fault is unthinkable because it threatens the very image they seek to project. The third and perhaps most insidious response is gaslighting. This takes denial to an extreme, flipping the focus away from their actions and onto you. They may question your memory, perception, or even your mental stability. Suddenly, you're no longer discussing their lie, but defending yourself against accusations of being overly sensitive, distrustful, or unreasonable. Gaslighting is not just about deflecting blame, it's about eroding your confidence in your own judgment. Through all of this, one crucial element will always be missing: a genuine effort to clear up confusion or restore harmony. A narcissist is not interested in resolving the situation or providing you with peace of mind. Their only concern is self-preservation and maintaining the illusion of control. As Stoics remind us, Epictetus famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." The narcissist's lies and manipulations are external events beyond your control. What remains firmly within your power is your response. By refusing to be drawn into their chaos and staying calm and grounded, you take back the control they seek to undermine. Remember this: truth needs no defense. It simply is. Narcissists may twist and contort reality, but their lies are ultimately a reflection of their own fragility, not a judgment on your worth. Approach these moments with clarity and composure, not for their sake, but for your own peace. Recognizing their tactics and staying rooted in logic is not just a way to handle them, it is an act of self-preservation. Ultimately, you cannot force a narcissist to confront the truth, but you can choose to protect yourself from their distortions. In doing so, you honor your own integrity, which no lie can ever tarnish. Remaining calm, composed, and grounded in the face of their deception is not only a form of resistance, but also a profound affirmation of your own self-respect. Choosing not to engage in their emotional warfare is an act of empowerment that secures your peace and fortifies your inner strength. This journey of challenging a narcissist's lies is not about winning an argument, but about reclaiming your ability to trust yourself and live in alignment with your values. By standing firm in the face of manipulation, you protect not just your present interactions, but your long-term emotional well-being, and that is a victory worth pursuing. Number 3. when you refuse to enable their toxic behavior. Narcissists thrive in environments where they can act without question or consequence. Their power lies in the silence of those who enable them, allowing their toxic patterns to continue unchecked. But perhaps you've reached your limit, tired of enduring insults, condescension, or being treated like a child in a never-ending time-out. It is exhausting, isn't it? But the solution is not to plead, cry, or play the victim in hopes they will change. That path only feeds the cycle. Instead, consider asking one of these powerful, disarming questions. The first is, why do you expect me to prioritize your needs over my own, even when it hurts me? This question directly confronts their sense of entitlement, forcing them to articulate why they believe their needs should come at your expense. Another question to use, particularly when they speak to you disrespectfully, is, why do you feel it's acceptable to speak to me this way? These questions are not intended to elicit a genuine dialogue with a narcissist. That is unlikely to happen. Instead, they are tools to expose their lack of accountability and create a moment of clarity for yourself. When posed to a healthy person who has simply made a mistake, such questions prompt immediate reflection. A person of integrity will catch themselves, apologize, and express genuine regret. Not so with a narcissist. Here is where it gets revealing. Narcissists often cannot resist the opportunity to assert control or dominance, even when it betrays their toxic nature. They will answer these questions, but not with reflection or remorse. Instead, they will respond with another layer of insult. You might hear something like, "You deserved it. If you hadn't done X, then I wouldn't have had to talk to you that way." This response shifts blame onto you, painting you as the problem, and therein lies the clue, a complete absence of accountability. In this moment, you might feel a surge of anger or an overwhelming urge to defend yourself. That's natural. However, this is precisely the trap they hope you'll fall into, the emotional tango that perpetuates the toxicity. If you lash out, retreat, or over-explain, they'll seize the opportunity to twist the narrative. See, you're the real problem. This is why preparation is vital. Before engaging with a narcissist, it's wise to rehearse your questions and steel yourself emotionally. One practical technique is to silently sing "Happy Birthday" in your head after asking your question. It may sound unusual, but it serves a purpose. It occupies your mind, keeps you from reacting emotionally, and gives you the space to observe their response objectively. But here's an important caution. Narcissists are masters of psychological endurance. They can outweight you, using silence as a weapon. Their infamous silent treatment is designed to make you uncomfortable, to bait you into speaking first, and to relinquish the power you've just claimed. They may add a piercing, snake-like stare to amplify the tension, knowing most people struggle with prolonged silence. Do not fall for it. You may have to silently sing "Happy Birthday" multiple times, perhaps 6, perhaps 10, but hold your ground. Silence in this context is your ally. By resisting the urge to break it, you deny them the control they seek. Once you've held firm, the dynamic shifts. Now you know the truth of who they are, and more importantly, they know you see it. This realization is pivotal. Narcissists fear exposure because their power hinges on the illusion they create. When the facade cracks, they will scramble to regain control. But you now possess the clarity to resist their tactics. The question that arises next is, what should you do with this knowledge? Stoic philosophy reminds us that peace is found not in changing others, but in mastering our own responses. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. You cannot force a narcissist to change, nor should you exhaust yourself trying. Instead, focus on preserving your peace, safeguarding your boundaries, and cultivating the inner strength to disengage from their chaos." This newfound awareness may tempt you to confront them further, to explain their flaws or demand they see the harm they've caused, but this too is a trap. Narcissists do not seek understanding. They seek control. The more energy you pour into trying to make them see, the more you feed the very cycle you wish to escape. Instead, redirect your focus inward. Recognize that refusing to enable their toxic behavior is an act of profound self-respect. By stepping out of their manipulative dance, you reclaim your autonomy and reaffirm your worth. This is not about winning a battle with them. It's about breaking free from the need to engage in their games at all. There is wisdom in knowing when to walk away, in recognizing that not every battle is ours to fight. As Epictetus reminds us, it is not events themselves that disturb us, but our interpretation of them. A narcissist's behavior is a reflection of their own inner turmoil, not a judgment on your value. By refusing to enable their toxicity, you reject the false narrative they try to impose upon you. Remember, it's not silence that defeats a narcissist, but the clarity that comes with it. When you hold firm in the face of their manipulations, you strip them of the power they wield over your emotions. This is the ultimate act of freedom, not to control them, but to no longer be controlled by them. Breaking the cycle may not be easy, but it is worth it. Each time you refuse to enable their behavior, you take a step toward a life of greater peace, strength, and clarity. In the words of Seneca, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Let us no longer imagine the power they hold over us, but instead see the reality of our own resilience. You have the power to stand firm, to walk away, and to protect your peace. That power is yours alone, unchanging and unshaken by the chaos of others. And in choosing to exercise it, you take the first step toward reclaiming your freedom.